Welcome to Diversity and Inclusion Training, presented by American PEST, CEUs. Diversity and Inclusion Training, what you may or may not know, table of contents, bias, and the challenges of overcoming the mindset. Challenges of implementing a D&I program, Introduction to Diversity and Inclusion, definition of diversity, definition of inclusion, importance of diversity and inclusion in various contexts. Unconscious bias refers to a prejudice or stereotype an individual may hold about a particular group of people that they aren't fully aware of. Also known as implicit bias, this bias can be directed toward people of certain races, gender identities, sexual orientations, physical abilities, or even personal traits. Biases and prejudices often develop in early childhood as children begin to make assumptions based on personal experiences. They may also receive stereotypes from parents, education systems, and other cultural institutions, as well as from popular forms of media such as books, movies, and television. As a result, unconscious biases can be forged over many years while going undetected. Unconscious bias, or implicit bias, is an assumption or belief you have in favor of or against a person or a group of people. These prejudices are unintentional. They happen outside of your awareness. Everyone has unconscious biases. They start forming when you're young. Your brain takes in information from your childhood, background, family situation, culture, and experiences. Then, it uses that input to make quick judgments about types or groups of people. Although you aren't aware of these biases, they can have an impact on your thoughts, attitudes, and actions. The workplace is tempered with unconscious bias. People's preconceptions, based on race, gender, religion, disability, sexual orientation, age, or a myriad of other demographic and individual characteristics. Unconscious, or implicit, bias is insidious because many people and organizations don't realize it's happening. Someone may be a fervent believer in workplace equity, but unknowingly make decisions from a place of bias that ultimately stifles diversity. Plus, unconscious bias isn't obvious. It occurs subtly but can build upon itself, creating a sense of discord and a lack of community within an organization. Some examples of actions that seem innocent but could be unintentionally biased include reacting to people more favorably or unfavorably based on personal characteristics, e.g., looks, height, hair color, mannerisms, etc. Telling your team, "Hey, we're having a barbecue Saturday. Be sure to bring your spouses and families." Subtly suggesting that employees without spouses or families are less valued or unseen. Praising an employee for completing a project without bothering you for assistance, possibly implying that asking for help is a sign of weakness. Unless people can identify bias behind decisions and insensitivity behind words and actions, our workplaces won't improve. Fortunately, training can help overcome the effects of unconscious bias and foster better diversity and inclusion. Employees who take a moment to consider the implications of their words and actions can make a significant difference. Unconscious bias is human nature. Everyone brings unconscious bias to everything they do, even people who claim to have no biases, because the human brain is designed to make decisions as quickly as possible. If, for example, you come across a piece of rope on the ground during the day, your past experiences and biases will likely enable you to identify it as a rope and, therefore, not a threat. In poor light, however, you may initially think that same piece of rope is a snake, requiring your brain to take a moment to assess the situation before walking past it. This instinctive process contributes to humans' cognitive efficiency. We react to what we see and hear around us, as well as our collective experiences and value systems. However, this process also contributes to unconscious bias. our brains switch to autopilot, i.e., it's a snake, unaware of the underlying ramifications of our decisions. Although explicit bias still exists in the workplace, many organizations are actively working to raise awareness of bias and inequity. However, unconscious bias continues to interfere with that goal. For example, a 2017 study found that white applicants receive 36% more callbacks for a job than black applicants, and 24% more callbacks than Latino or Latina applicants. A name that sounds non-white on a resume may trigger an unconscious bias that the candidate is less qualified. In our global, interconnected world, this autopilot mode prevents people from recognizing the positives that others bring to the table. And worse, we don't know what we're missing. Overcoming bias. With training processes can also suffer from unconscious bias. The content itself might be inadvertently unbalanced, and the training might not adequately teach employees how to apply an unbiased approach to everything they do on the job. Employees who take a moment to consider the implications of their words and actions can make a significant difference. Effective unconscious bias training teaches employees ways to add a pause between thought and action. In other words, think before you speak. Implementing diversity and inclusion (DI) programs can be challenging due to a variety of factors. Here are some common challenges and potential solutions. Before we journey into how and why to set up diversity training at your business, we are going to cover some roadblocks standing in the way of a successful program. Here are a few challenges of implementing a successful DI program. D&I is not prioritized. Often, D&I is viewed as a secondary objective and may not be prioritized by the wider organization. To overcome this, it's important to integrate D&I into the company's business strategy and mission or vision statement. No measurable strategy in place for D&I. Limited efforts towards D&I can result in a lack of focus and non-trackable outcomes. Establishing clarity, commitment, and measurability around D&I can help address this issue. Lack of inclusive recruitment practices. Inclusive recruitment is vital in creating a diverse workforce. Organizations can overcome this by implementing inclusive hiring practices and providing training to hiring managers. Poor staff retention. Retaining diverse talent can be a challenge. This can be addressed by creating an inclusive work environment and providing opportunities for career development. Low staff engagement. Low engagement levels can hinder the success of D&I initiatives. Regular communication, involvement in decision-making, and recognition can help boost engagement. Inappropriate behavior by staff, managers, and leaders. This can create a hostile work environment. Providing regular training on appropriate behavior and having a strong policy against discrimination and harassment can help overcome this. Insufficient diversity, equity, and inclusion metrics. A lack of metrics can make it difficult to identify areas of improvement. Implementing comprehensive tracking and reporting systems can help address this issue. Lack of understanding of the potential benefits. Some organizations may not fully understand the benefits of D&I. Education and awareness campaigns can help highlight the value of D&I. Failure to prioritize at top leadership levels. If D&I is not a priority at the leadership level, it can be difficult to implement effective initiatives. Gaining leadership buy-in and commitment is crucial for the success of D&I programs. Understanding diversity, elements of diversity, race, color, and ethnicity, language and nationality, sexual orientation, religion, gender, socio-economic status, age, physical, and mental ability. Understanding diversity, elements of diversity, race, color, and ethnicity, language and nationality, sexual orientation, religion, gender, socio-economic status, age, physical and mental ability. The concept of inclusion. What is inclusion? The importance of inclusion. Creating an inclusive environment. Benefits of inclusion. Implementing diversity and inclusion. Strategies for promoting diversity. Building an inclusive culture. Policies and practices for inclusion. Training and development programs. Challenges and barriers to diversity and inclusion. Identifying common challenges. Overcoming barriers. Addressing unconscious bias. Cultural competence and authenticity. Understanding. Cultural competence. Developing cultural competence. Authenticity in practice. Benefits of authenticity. Case studies and best practices. Successful diversity and inclusion initiatives. Lessons learned from case studies. Best practices for sustained success. Measuring success in diversity and inclusion, metrics, and key performance indicators. Evaluating diversity and inclusion programs. Continuous improvement. 1. Introduction to diversity and inclusion. Definition of diversity. Diversity encompasses all those differences that make us unique, including but not limited to race, color, ethnicity, language, nationality, sexual orientation, religion, gender, socioeconomic status, age, and physical and mental ability. Diversity is simply a representation of many different types of people, gender, race, ability, religion, etc. These differences are vital as they bring varied perspectives, experiences, and ideas, contributing to the richness of any group or organization. Understanding inclusion. Inclusion involves bringing together and harnessing diverse forces and resources in a way that is beneficial. It puts the concept and practice of diversity into action by creating an environment of involvement, respect, and connection, where the richness of ideas, backgrounds, and perspectives are harnessed to create business value and overall success. Importance of diversity and inclusion. Diversity is simply a representation of many different types of people, gender, race, ability, religion, etc. Inclusion is the deliberate act of welcoming diversity and creating an environment where all different kinds of people can thrive and succeed. Diversity often focuses on the differences and is referred to as the mix. Inclusion is about making the mix work. Simply having a diverse group, team, workforce, or classroom is not enough. Everyone should feel safe and encouraged to fully participate, share, and be on equal footing as everyone else. What to do? Educate yourself. Learn about the various aspects of diversity. This can be done through reading books, attending seminars, and participating in diversity training programs. Acknowledge differences. Recognize and respect the differences among people in your organization or community. Promote awareness. Share your knowledge about diversity with others to promote understanding and acceptance. Encourage open dialogue. Facilitate discussions about diversity to understand and address any concerns or misconceptions. Definition of inclusion. Inclusion involves bringing together and harnessing diverse forces and resources in a way that is beneficial. Inclusion puts the concept and practice of diversity into action by creating an environment of involvement, respect, and connection, where the richness of ideas, backgrounds, and perspectives are harnessed to create business value and overall success. Inclusion is the act of making the mix work. What to do? Create inclusive policies. Develop and implement policies that promote inclusivity in your organization. Encourage participation. Ensure that all individuals feel safe and encouraged to fully participate and share their perspectives. Foster respect. Promote a culture of respect where everyone feels valued for their unique contributions. Workplace. Enhances creativity, problem-solving, and employee satisfaction. Diverse teams can drive innovation, and are better equipped to meet the needs of diverse customers. Inclusion ensures all employees feel valued and can contribute fully to the organization's success. Education promotes learning and understanding among students of different backgrounds. An inclusive educational environment prepares students for a diverse workforce and society, fostering empathy and collaboration. Community builds stronger, more resilient communities through mutual respect and understanding. Diversity and inclusion efforts can reduce social inequalities and enhance the quality of life for all community members. What to do? Assess your environment. Evaluate your organization, school, or community to identify areas where diversity and inclusion can be improved. Implement initiatives. Develop initiatives that address specific diversity and inclusion needs in your context. Monitor progress. Regularly assess the impact of your initiatives and make necessary adjustments to improve outcomes. 2. Understanding diversity. Elements of diversity. Diversity often focuses on the differences and is referred to as the mix. These elements include race, color, and ethnicity. Different racial and ethnic backgrounds bring a variety of perspectives and experiences. Language and nationality. Different languages and nationalities contribute to a rich cultural mosaic. This diversity can enhance communication and global understanding. Sexual orientation includes heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, and other orientations. 2. Continued. Religion. A variety of religious beliefs and practices. Gender includes male, female, non-binary, and other gender identities. Socioeconomic status, economic and social class backgrounds. Age. Different age groups contribute varying perspectives. Physical and mental ability. Different levels of physical and mental ability contribute to diversity. Race, color, and ethnicity. Understanding the impact of racial and ethnic diversity is crucial in creating an inclusive environment. This includes recognizing historical contexts and addressing systemic inequalities. Different racial and ethnic backgrounds bring a variety of perspectives and experiences. Acknowledging and celebrating racial and ethnic diversity helps combat racism and promotes equity. Language and nationality. Embracing linguistic diversity and international perspectives can enhance communication and collaboration. Different languages and nationalities contribute to a rich cultural mosaic. Embracing linguistic diversity can improve communication and inclusivity in global contexts. Sexual orientation. Creating a welcoming environment for all sexual orientations involves understanding and respecting individual identities and relationships. This can be achieved through anti-discrimination policies, inclusive benefits, and support networks for LGBTQ+ individuals. Sexual orientation includes heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, and other orientations. Recognizing and respecting diverse sexual orientations promotes equality and reduces discrimination. Religion. Respect for religious diversity includes accommodating different beliefs and practices and ensuring freedom of religion. A variety of religious beliefs and practices. Respect for religious diversity includes accommodating different beliefs and practices and ensuring freedom of religion. Practices might include providing prayer spaces, respecting religious holidays, and promoting interfaith dialogue. Gender diversity involves recognizing and valuing different gender identities and expressions, and promoting gender equity. Includes male, female, non-binary, and other gender identities. Promoting gender diversity and equity involves challenging stereotypes and supporting all gender identities. This includes addressing gender bias, ensuring equal opportunities, and supporting gender diversity initiatives. What to do? Gender equity training. Educate employees on gender biases and how to promote gender equity. Support parental leave. provide comprehensive parental leave policies that support all parents. Socioeconomic status. Addressing socioeconomic diversity requires understanding the impact of economic disparities and working towards equal opportunities. Economic and social class backgrounds. Addressing socioeconomic diversity requires understanding the impact of economic disparities and working towards equal opportunities. This can involve scholarship programs, fair wage practices, and community outreach initiatives. Age diversity includes valuing the contributions of different age groups and addressing age-related biases. Different age groups contribute varying perspectives. Valuing age diversity can enhance mentoring, knowledge sharing, and innovation. Organizations can benefit from mentorship programs, age-diverse teams, and policies that prevent age discrimination.
What to do? Intergenerational projects. Encourage projects that bring together different age groups to leverage diverse experiences and skills. Flexible retirement options. Provide flexible retirement plans to accommodate the needs and preferences of older employees. Physical and mental ability. Creating an accessible and supportive environment for individuals with varying physical and mental abilities is essential for true inclusion. Different levels of physical and mental ability contribute to diversity. Creating an accessible and supportive environment for individuals with varying abilities is essential for true inclusion. This involves implementing accessibility standards, offering support services, and promoting an inclusive mindset. What to do? Promote cultural competence. Educate employees about different cultural norms and practices. Celebrate differences. Organize events and activities that celebrate diverse cultures and backgrounds. Provide support. Offer resources and support for individuals from diverse backgrounds such as language assistance or mental health services. Race, color, and ethnicity. Understanding the impact of racial and ethnic diversity is crucial in creating an inclusive environment. This includes recognizing historical context, addressing systemic inequalities, and celebrating cultural heritage through initiatives such as diversity training, cultural events, and inclusive policies. What to do? Acknowledge historical context, educate yourself and others about the history of different racial and ethnic groups. Combat systemic inequalities. Identify and address policies and practices that disproportionately affect certain racial and ethnic groups. Celebrate heritage. Organize events that celebrate the cultural heritage of different racial and ethnic groups. Language and nationality. Embracing linguistic diversity and international perspectives can enhance communication and collaboration. Strategies include offering language support services, celebrating cultural holidays, and encouraging cross-cultural interactions within organizations. What to do? Provide language support. Offer language classes and translation services to non-native speakers. Celebrate international holidays. Recognize and celebrate international holidays and cultural events. Encourage cross-cultural interactions. Create opportunities for employees to interact with colleagues from different cultural backgrounds. Sexual orientation. Creating a welcoming environment for all sexual orientations involves understanding and respecting individual entities and relationships. This can be achieved through anti-discrimination policies, inclusive benefits, and support networks for LGBTQ+ individuals. What to do? Implement anti-discrimination policies. Ensure your organization has clear policies against discrimination based on sexual orientation. Offer inclusive benefits. Provide benefits that cater to the needs of LGBTQ+ employees, such as health coverage for same-sex partners. Support networks. Create or support LGBTQ+ employee resource groups and networks. Religion. Respect for religious diversity includes accommodating different beliefs and practices, and ensuring freedom of religion. Practices might include providing prayer spaces, respecting religious holidays, and promoting interfaith dialogue. What to do? Provide prayer spaces, designate quiet areas for prayer and meditation, respect religious holidays, allow flexible scheduling to accommodate religious holidays and practices, promote interfaith dialogue, encourage conversations and events that promote understanding among different religious groups. Gender. Gender diversity involves recognizing and valuing different gender identities and expressions and promoting gender equity. This includes addressing gender bias, ensuring equal opportunities, and supporting gender diversity initiatives. What to do? Address gender bias, implement training programs to identify and mitigate gender bias, ensure equal opportunities, monitor hiring, promotion, and pay practices to ensure gender equity, support gender diversity initiatives, promote initiatives that support different gender identities, such as gender-neutral restrooms and policies. Socioeconomic status. Addressing socioeconomic diversity requires understanding the impact of economic disparities and working towards equal opportunities. This can involve scholarship programs, fair wage practices, and community outreach initiatives. What to do? Implement scholarship programs, offer scholarships and financial assistance to individuals from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. Ensure fair wage practices, regularly review and adjust wages to ensure fairness and equity. Engage in community outreach, support community programs that address economic disparities, and provide opportunities for underprivileged groups. Age. Age diversity includes valuing the contributions of different age groups and addressing age-related biases. Organizations can benefit from mentorship programs, age-diverse teams, and policies that prevent age discrimination. What to do? Promote age diversity, encourage the inclusion of individuals from different age groups in teams and projects, implement mentorship programs, establish mentorship programs that pair younger employees with more experienced colleagues, prevent age discrimination, ensure policies and practices do not discriminate based on age, and provide training to recognize and mitigate age bias. Physical and mental ability. Creating an accessible and supportive environment for individuals with varying physical and mental abilities is essential for true inclusion. This involves implementing accessibility standards, offering support services, and promoting an inclusive environment. What to do? Implement accessibility standards, ensure physical and digital spaces are accessible to individuals with disabilities, offer support services, provide resources such as assistive technologies and mental health support, promote an inclusive culture, foster a culture that values and supports individuals with different abilities. 3. The concept of inclusion. What is inclusion? Inclusion is a deliberate act of welcoming diversity and creating an environment where all kinds of people can thrive and succeed. It involves ensuring that everyone feels safe and encouraged to fully participate and share on equal footing. What to do? Foster a welcoming environment. Create spaces where all individuals feel valued and included. Encourage collaboration. Promote teamwork and collaboration among diverse groups. Support individual needs. Recognize and accommodate the unique needs of individuals. The importance of inclusion. Inclusion is critical because it leverages the strengths of a diverse group, fostering innovation, collaboration, and overall success. It moves beyond the mere representation to active engagement and contribution, ensuring that diverse perspectives are valued and utilized. What to do? Promote inclusivity in policies, ensure organizational policies support inclusive practices, encourage diverse perspectives, actively seek out and value different viewpoints, measure and improve Regularly assess the inclusivity of your environment and make improvements as needed. Creating an inclusive environment involvement. Actively engaging all members of a group or organization in decision-making processes and activities. Respect. Valuing each individual's contributions and perspectives, ensuring everybody feels heard and respected. Connection. Building relationships and networks that support diversity, fostering a sense of belonging and community. What to do? Implement inclusive policies. Develop policies that promote inclusivity, such as anti-discrimination and flexible work policies. Provide diversity training. Offer regular training on diversity and inclusion topics. Foster a culture of respect. Promote respectful interactions and challenge discriminatory behavior. Benefits of inclusion. Enhance creativity. Diverse perspectives lead to innovative solutions and creative problem solving. Improve decision-making. Inclusive teams make better decisions by considering a wider range of options and perspectives. Greater employee satisfaction. Inclusive environments improve morale, reduce turnover, and enhance overall employee satisfaction. Increase productivity. When employees feel valued and included, they are more likely to be engaged and productive. Better reputation. Organizations known for their inclusive practices attract top talent and gain a positive reputation in the market. What to do? Track benefits. Measure the impact of inclusion on employee engagement, performance, and innovation. Share success stories. Highlight examples of how inclusion has benefited individuals in the organization. Promote mental health. Foster an inclusive environment that supports the mental health and well-being of all employees. 4. Implementing diversity and inclusion. Strategies for promoting diversity. Recruitment. Implementing fair and inclusive hiring practices to attract a diverse talent pool. This includes using diverse job boards, structured interviews, and diverse hiring panels. Retention. Creating a supportive environment that encourages diverse employees to stay. Strategies include offering mentorship programs, career development opportunities, and fostering a positive workplace culture. Mentorship. Providing mentorship opportunities for underrepresented groups to support their growth and development within the organization. What to do? Revise recruitment practices, implement strategies to attract diverse candidates, such as partnering with diverse organizations and using inclusive job descriptions. Develop mentorship programs. Establish mentorship programs that support the development of diverse employees. Offer diversity training. Provide regular training on diversity, equity, and inclusion topics. Building an inclusive culture. Leadership commitment. Leaders must prioritize and model inclusive behavior, setting the tone for the entire organization. This involves active participation in diversity initiatives and holding themselves accountable for inclusive practices. Employee training. Regular training on diversity and inclusion for all employees to raise awareness and build skills. Topics might include unconscious bias, cultural competence, and inclusive communication. Policy development. Establishing policies that promote diversity and prevent discrimination. This includes anti-discrimination policies, flexible work agreements, and accessibility standards. What to do? Promote inclusive leadership. Encourage leaders to model inclusive behaviors and support diversity initiatives. Encourage employee resource groups. Support the formation of employee resource groups, ERGs, that promote inclusion and provide support for diverse groups. Recognize and reward inclusivity. Recognize and reward behaviors that promote inclusion and diversity. Policies and practices for inclusion. Developing and implementing policies and practices that promote inclusion is essential. This includes anti-discrimination policies, flexible work agreements, and inclusive benefits. Anti-discrimination policies, clear policies to prevent discrimination and harassment based on race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and other factors. Flexible work agreements, accommodating different needs and circumstances through flexible work hours, remote work options, and job sharing arrangements. Accessibility, ensuring physical and digital accessibility for all, including ramps, elevators, accessible websites, and assistive technologies. Training and development programs. Training and development programs are crucial for promoting diversity and inclusion. These programs should focus on raising awareness, developing cultural competence, and building inclusive leadership skills. Unconscious bias training, helping employees recognize and mitigate biases that affect their behavior and decisions. Cultural competence training, building skills to interact effectively with people from diverse cultures, including understanding cultural norms and communication styles. Leadership development, preparing leaders to foster inclusive environments through training in inclusive leadership practices and diversity management. What to do? Offer regular training, provide ongoing training on diversity, inclusion, and cultural competence, develop inclusive leadership skills, offer training programs that focus on developing inclusive leadership skills, promote continuous learning, encourage continuous learning and development in diversity and inclusion topics, implement anti-discrimination policies, ensure your organization has clear policies against discrimination and harassment, offer flexible work agreements, provide flexible work options that accommodate the diverse needs of employees, provide inclusive benefits, offer benefits that cater to the diverse needs of employees, such as family leave, health benefits, and wellness programs. 5. Challenges and barriers to diversity and inclusion, identifying common challenges. Common challenges to diversity and inclusion include resistance to change, unconscious bias, and systemic barriers. Recognizing these challenges is the first step to addressing them. Unconscious bias, hidden prejudices that affect decision-making and behavior, often without conscious awareness. Resistance to change, pushback from individuals who are comfortable with the status quo and resistant to new diversity initiatives. Lack of awareness, insufficient understanding of diversity and inclusion issues, leading to ignorance and perpetuation of biases. Systemic barriers, structural inequalities and institutional practices that disadvantage certain groups. What to do? Identify resistance, recognize and address resistance to diversity and inclusion efforts, address unconscious bias, implement strategies to recognize and mitigate unconscious biases, challenge systemic barriers, identify and address systemic barriers that prevent diversity and inclusion. Overcoming barriers. Overcoming barriers to diversity and inclusion requires education, leadership support, and continuous improvement. This involves raising awareness, gaining commitment from leaders, and regularly assessing and improving diversity initiatives. Education. Raising awareness through training, workshops, and educational materials to inform employees about diversity and inclusion. Leadership support. Gaining commitment from top leaders to champion diversity and inclusion efforts and hold the organization accountable. Continuous improvement. Regularly assessing and improving diversity initiatives based on feedback and changing needs. Addressing unconscious bias. Unconscious bias can hinder diversity and inclusion efforts. Addressing these biases includes providing education, implementing policies to reduce bias, and encouraging self-reflection. Training. Providing education on recognizing and mitigating biases, including practical strategies for reducing bias in decision-making. Policies. Implementing procedures to reduce bias in hiring, promotion, and performance evaluations, such as blind recruitment and standardized evaluation criteria. Awareness. encouraging self-reflection and awareness of biases through tools like bias assessment tests and regular discussions on the topic. What to do? Provide bias training, offer training on recognizing and mitigating unconscious biases, implement bias-reducing policies, develop procedures to reduce bias in hiring, promotion, and performance evaluations, encourage self-reflection, promote tools and discussions that encourage self-awareness and reflection on biases. 6. Cultural competence and authenticity, understanding cultural competence. Cultural competence involves understanding, respecting, and effectively interacting with people from diverse cultures. It includes knowledge, skills, and attitudes that enable effective cross-cultural interactions. It includes knowledge, understanding different cultural practices, values, and worldviews. This knowledge helps in appreciating cultural diversity and avoiding misunderstandings. Skills: communicating and interacting effectively across cultures, including language skills, nonverbal communication, and conflict resolution. Attitudes: valuing diversity, being open to cultural differences, and showing respect for different cultural perspectives. Developing cultural competence. Developing cultural competence involves education, experience, and reflection. This includes learning about different cultures, engaging with diverse communities, and continuously assessing and improving one's cultural competence. Education. Learning about different cultures and perspectives through courses, reading, and cultural events. Experience. Engaging with diverse groups and communities, participating in cultural exchanges, and seeking out diverse experiences. Reflection. Continuously assessing and improving one's cultural competence through self-reflection, feedback, and ongoing learning. Authenticity in practice. Authenticity involves being true to oneself and others. It includes sincerity, being genuine and honest in interactions, avoiding pretense or falsehood. Transparency, openly sharing thoughts and feelings, building trust through honesty. Integrity, consistently acting according to one's values, ensuring actions align with words. Vulnerability, being open about one's vulnerabilities and limitations, fostering deep connections and trust. Cultivate self-awareness, knowing oneself, including strengths, weaknesses, and values, and being comfortable with one's identity. Benefits of authenticity. Trust. Authenticity builds trust in relationships as others perceive genuine intentions and integrity. Engagement. Genuine interactions enhance engagement and collaboration as people feel more connected and understood. Well-being. Being true to oneself promotes personal well-being, reducing stress, and increasing satisfaction. 7. Case studies and best practices. Successful diversity and inclusion initiatives. Examining successful initiatives can provide valuable insights. Examples include Company A implemented comprehensive diversity training, resulting in increased employee satisfaction and innovation. Their program included unconscious bias training, inclusive leadership workshops, and employee resource groups. Organization B created an inclusive culture through mentorship programs and flexible work policies. They also established a diversity council to oversee and guide diversity initiatives. University C developed a curriculum that incorporates diversity and inclusion across all disciplines, fostering an inclusive educational environment. What to do? Analyze case studies, study successful diversity and inclusion initiatives to understand best practices. Implement proven strategies. Adopt strategies that have been successful in other organizations. Tailor to your needs. Customize successful strategies to fit the specific needs of your organization. Benchmarking. Compare your organization's practices with industry leaders to identify areas for improvement. Lessons learned from case studies. Lessons from case studies often highlight the importance of leadership, support, continuous learning, and inclusivity. These lessons can guide the development and implementation of effective diversity and inclusion programs. Leadership is key. Successful initiatives often have strong leadership support, with leaders championing diversity and inclusion. Continuous learning. Ongoing education and training are essential to keep diversity efforts effective and relevant. Inclusivity matters. Creating an inclusive environment benefits everyone, not just underrepresented groups, and leads to better overall outcomes. Best practices for sustained success. Regular assessment. Continuously evaluate and improve diversity programs based on feedback and performance metrics. Employee involvement. Engage employees at all levels in diversity initiatives to ensure broad support and participation. Clear communication. Maintain open and transparent communication about diversity efforts, goals, and progress to build trust and accountability. Establish standards. Develop standards and benchmarks for diversity and inclusion. Celebrate milestones. Recognize and celebrate milestones and achievements in diversity and inclusion. What to do? Conduct regular assessments, continuously evaluate and improve diversity programs, engage employees, involve employees at all levels in diversity initiatives, communicate clearly, maintain open and transparent communication about diversity efforts and progress. 8. Measuring success in diversity and inclusion. Metrics and key performance indicators. Measuring success in diversity and inclusion involves tracking diversity metrics, inclusion metrics, and performance metrics. These indicators help assess the effectiveness of diversity and inclusion programs and identify areas for improvement. Diversity metrics. Representation of different groups within the organization, including gender, race, ethnicity, age, and ability. Inclusion metrics. Employee perceptions of inclusivity and belonging, often measured through surveys and feedback. Performance metrics. Impact of diversity on organizational performance, such as innovation rates, employee satisfaction, and financial performance. What to do? Track diversity metrics, measure representation of different groups in your organization. Assess inclusion metrics, evaluate employee engagement, satisfaction, and sense of belonging. Monitor performance metrics, track the impact of diversity and inclusion on organizational performance. Evaluating diversity and inclusion programs. Surveys. Regular employee surveys to gauge the effectiveness of diversity initiatives, identify areas for improvement, and measure employee sentiment. Feedback. Collecting feedback from employees, stakeholders, and external partners to understand the impact and effectiveness of diversity programs. Benchmarking. Comparing with industry standards and best practices to identify strengths and areas for improvement. What to do? Collect data. Gather data on diversity and inclusion metrics. Analyze results. Assess the impact of diversity programs and identify areas for improvement. Make informed decisions. Use data to guide decisions and adjustments to diversity initiatives. Continuous improvement. Continuous improvement in diversity and inclusion involves regularly reviewing and enhancing programs. This ensures that initiatives remain relevant, effective, and aligned with evolving needs and goals. Regular reviews. Periodically review diversity and inclusion policies and practices to ensure they remain relevant and effective. Adaptation. Adjust strategies based on feedback, changing needs, and emerging trends to stay ahead in diversity efforts. Innovation. Continuously seek new ways to promote diversity and inclusion, leveraging technology, new research, and innovative practices. What to do? Review programs regularly. Conduct regular reviews of diversity and inclusion programs. Seek feedback. Gather feedback from employees to identify strengths and areas for improvement. Enhance programs. Implement changes and enhancements based on feedback and assessment results. 9. Conclusion. Recap of key points. Diversity and inclusion are essential for creating environments where all individuals feel valued and can contribute to their fullest potential. This course has covered the definitions, importance, and implementation of diversity and inclusion, as well as strategies for overcoming challenges and measuring success. Diversity includes various differences that make individuals unique. Inclusion involves creating an environment where diverse individuals can thrive. Both diversity and inclusion are essential for organizational success. What to do? Review key concepts. Ensure you understand the definitions and importance of diversity and inclusion. Implement strategies. Apply the strategies and best practices discussed in this course. Commit to continuous improvement. Regularly assess and improve your diversity and inclusion efforts. Future directions in diversity and inclusion. The future of diversity and inclusion involves continued commitment to creating inclusive environments, addressing emerging challenges, and leveraging new opportunities. Staying informed about trends and best practices is crucial for sustained success. Innovation. Exploring new approaches and technologies to enhance diversity. Global perspective. Considering diversity on a global scale, including cross-cultural competence and international diversity initiatives. Sustainability. Ensuring long-term commitment to diversity and inclusion, integrating these values into the organizational culture. What to do? Stay informed. Keep up to date with trends and developments in diversity and inclusion. Adapt to changes. Be flexible and adapt your strategies to address emerging challenges and opportunities. Promote inclusive innovation. Encourage innovative approaches to enhance diversity and inclusion. Take action. Commit to promoting diversity and inclusion in your organization, community, or personal life. Take actionable steps to create environments where everyone feels valued, respected, and able to thrive. Commit to diversity. Make a personal and organizational commitment to diversity. Promote inclusion. Actively work to create inclusive environments. Continuous learning. Stay informed and engage with diversity and inclusion issues. Champion change. Be a leader in promoting diversity and inclusion in all areas of your life. This course on diversity and inclusion provides in-depth information and practical instructions under each heading. By following these guidelines, individuals and organizations can create more inclusive environments that harness the full potential of diverse perspectives and experiences. Here's some success stories from major corporations that we thought would be helpful in showing you how this actually works. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft has implemented rigorous, unconscious bias UB programs that help employees overcome denial, develop empathy that combats bias, diversify their networks, and commit to improvement. Procter & Gamble. P&G views diversity and inclusion as a core business strategy. They have embraced inclusive marketing, launching campaigns that celebrate diversity and address societal issues. Key takeaway: align D&I efforts with core business values. Let's look at Starbucks. In response to an incident of racial bias at one of its stores, Starbucks held company-wide training to address implicit bias, promote conscious inclusion, and prevent discrimination. These companies have used a combination of training, policy changes, and ongoing commitment to diversity and inclusion to address and mitigate the impact of unconscious bias. By fostering an inclusive environment and valuing diversity, organizations and communities can harness the richness of ideas, backgrounds, and perspectives to achieve greater success and well-being for everyone involved. We hope you take this information and build on it. Obviously, this isn't a one and done type of training. It must be consistent and focused. It will take time and patience to enact change. Thank you again for choosing American Pest CEUs. We hope you enjoyed the course. Please send any comments you may have to pestceus@gmail.com.